Answer to this one is 6. Answer to this one is negative 39. Until the bell goes off.
At this time, I need all 7th graders.
The answer is negative 5. You got to be at the table before the bell goes off. Answer for this one should be 0. Answer for this one should be 15. Answer to this one should be 16. We have 17 here and 3, 6, 8 with homework. So that's going to be a percent of 47. Homework lottery. If you have credit for your homework, pick a number from 1 to 20. And in this case, since we only have 8 out of 17, you can pick 2 numbers and put 2 numbers on your paper. The winning numbers today are 1, 5, 8, 13, and 19. A multiple choice before we go to the answers. The answer for this one should be C. Here are the answers. On the first one, your zeros are negative 4 and 1. Axis of symmetry, negative 1.5. The vertex should be negative 1.5 and 6.25. So here's your vertex at negative 1.5 and 6.25. There's your zeros, negative 4 and 1. And it continues through the graph. For the second one, your zeros are negative 5 and 1. Axis of symmetry is negative 2. The vertex is negative 2 and negative 9. So there's your negative 2, negative 9. The scale on mine is different. So if yours looks like it's closer to the y-axis or further away, it doesn't mean it's wrong. It depends on what the scale is of the axis. So there's negative 2, negative 9, and the zeros of negative 5 and 1. On number 3, that cannot be factored, so you have to do the quadratic formula. You'll come back with 3.2 and 1.8 for the zeros. And then the axis of symmetry is a negative 2.5. And for the vertex, it's going to be negative 2.5 and 1/4. So it should have been negative 2. Is that right? It should have been negative 3.2 and 1.8.
I got negative 3.6 and negative 1.4.
Oh, okay, but it should be negative. Yeah, and it opens down, so this is fine. Did you get the vertex of negative 2.5 and 1.25?
I got negative 2.5 and 1. Yeah. I got 1.5, but yeah.
Okay. Now, for some reason, my zeros are positive here. That shouldn't be the case. They should be negative. So I'll just go ahead and add those in. Cheat a little bit there and make those negative 3.2 and negative 1.8. On 4, your zeros are negative 4, negative 3. Axis of symmetry is negative 3.5. And the vertex is negative 3.5 and a negative 1/4. So there's your negative 3.5, and that's a negative 1/4. It's hard to see because the scale is going by 4s on here. So it's just barely dipping below the y-axis. And it is over negative 3.5. The last one, the zeros are negative 5 and 6. Axis of symmetry is 1/2. And
Excuse the interruption. 7th graders G through M, please report to the library. 7th graders with the last name beginning G through M to the gym.
and the vertex is a half and negative 3 1/4.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it says 30.
Or negative 30 1/4. I'm probably said 3. The announcements get me fouled up. My scale is going down by 16s, so that's why mine is probably looking a little different than yours.
Mine, my scale going up instead of down.
Yeah, I used a function grapher on this, and you're right. For some reason, when I would go back and put in the equations, the equation I had before this was negative, I think, or the one before I graphed this one. So when I backspace back, I didn't take out the negative sign, so it made this one negative. You're right, the vertex is over a half, and then it's going to go up, so it should be like this. Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. So we'll scratch that one out. Today's objective, still going to be the same thing, identifying the zeros and making a rough graph. Here's example 1. What should I do first on this?
Multiply all by
Okay, we can multiply it all by negative 1. Actually, just take out a negative 1 and get this. And when we get that, can I factor that? I don't think there's going to be two numbers that multiply to get negative 7 and add to get negative 5, so it's not going to work out. The only two factors of 7 are 1 and 7. Their difference is 6, so whether it's negative or positive, you're not going to get to a 5. All right. So now where do we go from here? Quadratic formula, so it's a negative b, that would give us a negative 5, plus or minus the square root of 5 squared minus 4 times a times c over 2 times negative 1. So when we simplify this, negative 5 plus or minus the square root of 25, is it going to be minus or plus? Plus, you have minus and negative, so it's plus. 4 times 1 times 7 is 28. So we just have one more level of simplifying to do here, and that's under the square root sign to get a 53. And from there you can solve it or evaluate it twice to come up with two different answers. The first one is negative 5 plus the square root of 53, and then divide that by negative 2. If I round that to the tens place, what would I come up with? Anybody get something different?
Negative 1.1.
Yeah, it's negative 1.1. Negative 1.1. If you're using a scientific calculator like the TI-83, then you need to do the top part and hit enter and get an answer, and then hit divide and do the negative 2.
That's what I did.
The next one is negative 5 minus the square root of 53, and then divide by negative 2, round to the tens place and get what? 6.1. Okay, so those are the zeros.
We don't change the sign on these, right?
For the axis of symmetry, we need negative b over 2a. So that would be a negative 5 over 2 times a negative 1. So you would come up with a positive 5 halves, which you're going to use as 2.5 on your graph. But you could use 2.5 when you plug it back in for the vertex, or 2.5, whatever you want to use. So the vertex is the last thing to do. So that would be a negative 5 halves, or a 2.5, that you're plugging into the original equation. and then solving for a vertex. You don't have to do it the way that I'm doing it up here. In fact, I'm not even going to work out the fractions. I'll just put it in the calculator like you do. And that would be 2.5. You square that, and you're going to multiply it by a -1. So you have negative 6.25, and then plus 5 times 2.5, and then plus 7. What did you come up with? Yeah, 13.25. So it should be 2.5 and 13 1/4. Alright, time to graph, and the vertex was 2.5 and 3 1/4, or 13 1/4. I don't have 13 on this going up, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and then 12 and 14. And going to the right, I think I can keep that the same. It'll stretch it out somewhat. So we go over 2.5. If we go over 2.5, there's the vertex. And then we have to go up 13 1/4 from there. So 13 1/4. 13 is right here. That's that's 13. So 13 1/2 is about right there. So just below it is going to be 13 1/4. So now the zeros are 1.1. So 1.1 is approximately there, and 6.1 is going to be, that's a negative 1.1. It should be right here. I went to the positive. That's my fault. Negative 1.1 is the 0 here, and then we have 6.1, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 there. So there's the vertex and the zeros. Now we're going to need at least 2 more points for this. So should we choose them on the outside of negative 1.1 and 6.1, or on the inside? Outside, yeah. What are we going to pick for the ones that we're going to plug in and try? Yeah, we can try this right here, -3, and then what? Is that a -2? Yeah, that's a negative. Yeah, we can try -2.
Do you use a +7?
Yeah, we can use a +7 from right here. Alright, so we'll go back and plug that in. One of the points we tried was -2, and it comes back to be -7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. -7. Alright, then we came back with a -7, so it should be right here. Alright, now the only thing left to do is to graph it. So I'll do this one in black, thicker marker. And we'll go like this. And like this. Practice number 1. All I need are the zeros only. Bring it up and drop it off. For the zeros, you're going to have to use the quadratic formula. So that's a -6, and that's way too large. -6 plus or minus, there we go. 6 squared minus 4ac over 2 times a. So -6 plus or minus 36 plus 24 over 4. And that's going to be -6 plus or minus the square root of 60 over 4. So you have 2 problems to work out. One with plus, one with minus. -6 plus the square root of 60, and then divide by 4, is going to be 0.4. And -6 minus the square root of 60 divided by 4 is going to be a negative 3.4. Bonus is axis of symmetry. Answer on this bonus is a negative half. Answer for this bonus is 1/3. The answer to this bonus is 1/2. This is the axis of symmetry, and you can just walk by with it. For the axis of symmetry, it is negative b over 2a. So that's a negative 6 over 2 times 2, which is a negative 6 over 4, but you must reduce it. So you could have a negative 3.5, or you could have a negative 1.5. 3 problems for tonight, and you need 3 pieces of this graph paper here by the lamp. 3 of the big pieces of graph paper.